Yeah, welcome to the Anispective cast, where we do not endorse putting booby traps around the school to try and injure and or maim students. That is not cool.
Yeah, this episode, I love this episode. This episode's hilarious.
This might be, I'm going to say this with the biggest air quotes possible, the first serious episode in the series. And it's just like complete goofy clown world all the way through.
Yeah, it's only serious in the sense that it introduces two new characters who will return to the series in the future.
It introduces love interest and rival, and they take rival pretty dang seriously, like he is an actual threat.
Yeah, he plays it straight through all of this goofiness, which is fine.
He's playing it straight as everything around him is the goofiest crap ever. Dude shows up in like a freaking golden horse-drawn carriage, just going across a school's private golf course, just like living in an effing castle. And he just like, he just shows up and he's like, oh hey, you're beneath me, let's fight.
Yeah, I think he steps out of the carriage and like his tie like flutters in the wind all dramatically.
Yeah, his literal carriage coach is like, oh, he's so elegant, the young master. Meanwhile, his sister, I'm pretty sure it's a sister.
Karen?
Yeah, Karen.
No.
Karen.
It'd be Karine, but whatever.
Karine, I will probably call her Karen because it's funnier.
I think that's what they call her in the English dub too. They just call her Karen, I think.
Yeah.
So, this episode is funny all the way through. It starts funny. Like, the first scene is like a dramatic shot of like a car racing down the street really quickly and like cuts to Icky like casually crossing the street. And it's like, oh God, he's going to get hit by the car. And then Karine like jumps out of nowhere to push him out of the way and like launches him into the wall and he like leaves a crater.
Yeah.
And then the car was like a child in like a little battery operated car.
It's a little like, pedal car.
Yeah, it just kind of like puts by and it's just like, okay.
You saved him from getting hit by a little tight cozy coupe. By smashing his face into the pavement. So this has like caused me to add a new section to the win rate text document.
Really?
Because I can just assume this is gonna be a recurring gag of Karen pushing people out of the way of things that are either going to like actually be justified or not. So currently she is 1 for 1 on that. She is like 1 win and 1 loss as far as pushing people out of the way of danger goes.
I think it might be less that and more that like she overreacts to things. Like she pushes Icky out of the way of like the harmless little car, and like later she almost like jumps out of like the rowboat and like actually makes Icky falling because he thinks she's gonna fall because she sees like a 1 yen coin at the bottom of the lake.
Yeah, like her whole gag, her whole gimmick is that she is like absurdly nice and cares about everyone, and she's like, she's doing the whole like, like nice, cute, like anime princess thing of like, oh, I ask want everyone to like, get along and to, help everyone and do what I can for other people. But she takes it to like the most absurd degree possible without realizing it.
Yeah, she's really ditzy, but she is like super nice to like everybody.
Yeah. She's just like, oh, I saw a 1 yen coin at the bottom of the lake, and, I just had to retrieve it because, the person who lost it might have been a little upset by losing their coin.
She sees the 1 yen coin, and she doesn't want it for herself. She thinks that, oh, somebody might have lost that.
Yeah. Somebody may have lost it. But also, like, what if I just went for it and then, like, Icky falls overboard? Which is more of an inconvenience, honestly. But she's trying. He, like, sees a bunch of kids just, like, asking her for, like, her lunch. And she's like, oh, sure, yeah. And Icky's like, oh, she's being bullied and she must be, like, poor. And they just keep picking on her. And
Yeah,
she's
and it
like,
doesn't
no,
help.
I just have, like, leftovers. I just have, like, way too much to eat all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't help that the dudes who walk up and ask for her school lunch, it doesn't help that they look like a pack of delinquents. And it's like, later in the episode when Icky discovers that she is not poor or being bullied or anything, and like she debunks everything. It's just like, why were you cleaning the parts of the school despite the fact that like you don't need to? And she's just like, I like cleaning. It's like, okay, but what about the guys stealing your money? And she's just like, oh, my mom packs me like a full course meal for lunch, so I just give my school lunch away. It's like, oh man, it's great.
Jeez.
Um,
But yeah,
but
this
yeah,
episode, she just shows up and everyone's like, oh yeah, there's the legendary Medabotter in the area, and we need to find out who it is. It's like this legendary figure. They say they never lose, and that, like, everyone looks up to him, and they have all these, like, wild theories that are, like, obviously not true. It's like, even the narrator's like, oh yeah, well, it's an urban legend, so, its validity's gonna be a bit up in the air.
yeah, the narrators like, legends are often, as they are retold, are often like misconstrued or overblown or whatever.
I don't know if
And
it's
it's like,
just, yeah.
we cut to Kikuhime and her guys. They're overhearing it, and it's like, oh, we're gonna go to the school too. After Icky and Arika go, they're just like, yeah, we're gonna go fight the legendary Robattler.
Is it, like, crazy that it's like, that's not crazy, but it's like, it's weird to think that it's like my first thought was like immediately like, okay, yeah, no, it's Karen. It's freaking Karen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious that's the setup they're going for. Or it's just like,
It's
it's
like,
like, oh,
alright, yeah.
who's this mysterious new character? And it's like, okay, well, it's not gonna be the obvious one, so it's got to be Karen, right?
Yeah. And I'm just like, wait, does she have, like, Nutrinurse? Does that mean Nutrinurse is actually strong? Excuse me? And it's like,
Uh,
oh no, it's Nar lost a battle because it doesn't fight.
yeah. I mean, it wins its battles. I guess that makes it strong in a sense. Also, it's in the Japanese version, I think it was called Saint Nurse.
Yes.
So they probably saw Saint in the English version. They're like, it's kind of religious connotations. Change it to something else.
Just meanwhile, us growing up on Digimon.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Here's Nutrinurse. It doesn't even have like weapons. Really, it has like these magical pill-shaped things on its arms.
Its weapon is healing, and for what it's worth, it is a really strong heal, it seems, because it just AoEs like everyone on the school grounds.
Yeah, as far as like a healer support type Medabot goes, yeah, Nutrinurse does seem really, really powerful.
Like, as long as it can selectively choose who it heals, that's, like, big.
Probably can.
It can probably, like, focus that beam, yeah.
Yeah. And we also meet Koji's Medabot. I forgot. I'm not even gonna try to call it its original name. It's Similodon. Its original name is weird, and I'm not gonna remember how to say it. So it's Similodon.
It's Smilodonid.
Yeah, I don't like its original name.
Similodon? Yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah, Similodon. Yeah.
It's apparently supposed to be a saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah, even though it's an STG type.
Yeah,
Which,
so yeah, which implies it's supposed to be like a stag, I think, like a beetle type.
yeah, there's a few of these in these episodes where I just look at the abbreviation and it's like, wait, that, because it's like there's an octopus that's like CLW for like claw.
Calamari. Oh wait, CLW.
Yeah, I think something like that.
I don't know.
There's some weird ones. I think there's
Also,
like a shark that's like SHA or something, and it took me a bit to be like, oh, that's what it is. Alright, yeah. No, it's SHK or some crap.
Still makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Similodon's cool also. It just looks cool.
Yeah,
it's
this yeah.
Because I kind of didn't realize until this episode where we were seeing Medaby like directly next to characters. I didn't realize how tiny he is.
Oh yeah, Medaby's kind of short.
Medaby is tiny, and then cut to Similodon, who is taller than Koji, who I think is taller than Icky and friends.
Yeah.
Like, Similodon's huge.
They do mention Similodon's like apparently a heavyweight type, but it's like a fast physical attacker.
Right, yeah. Yeah, they do bring up the mention of like weight classes. So yeah.
Yeah, so this is like, it's like a heavily armed bruiser, but it's fast.
Yeah, so it's like, and it's like, oh, okay, Koji clearly like just bought the best Medabot he could buy with all of his infinite money.
Yeah, pretty much. He does mention he is every part, and yet Similodon's still rocking his like default gear.
I mean, is this his default gear, or is this a bunch of like a bunch of different parts that Koji like put together, and then like keep in mind they could probably just paint parts to make them match.
Yeah, but the shoulders and legs seem like just very stylistically consistent and symmetrical.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even think that's any. I don't think that ever even comes up. The idea that anyone might paint their Medabot to make it match aesthetically. It's like, I got this cool new part that I want to use all the time, but it looks terrible on my Medabot.
Yeah, they just bust out the spray paint. They just start paying up. They get like the stencil work done. It's time to apply the water slide decals.
I'm jumping ahead a little bit to the next episode. But Medaby has to walk around a little bit with the Bancho Medabot's legs, and it's like, if you painted those his colors, it'd probably look pretty good on him.
And they are really effing bulky.
I guess. You know what? Yeah, because like it's the legs are supposed to be like the continuation of the coat from the top half.
Yeah, it's the bomb half of like a heavyweight Medabot on Medaby. It's like, yeah, as long as it works.
I think that would be a cool feature for like the Medabot thing. It's like you could transfer parts, and then there's like a kind of like a glamour hologram thing where it's just like it'll make it look like the rest of your Medabot.
Yeah, just change the color to like match the color scheme.
Yeah.
So, to like abbreviate things a little bit, yeah, we go into the school grounds to find the legendary Medabotter, and we come across Koji and Similodon. Immediately these two fight like a random kid named Edamame and his golem Medabot,
who has been trying to get to the rich kids school for 2 years.
Yeah.
By the way,
yeah.
Something we didn't mention that the narrator does It takes 3 hours by foot to get to this school. And it's absolutely gigantic, and like Death said, it has like a golf course and like a big lake. Like the school is on the other side of the big lake.
Jeez. Why? Why
Metabee
though?
points out, Metabee points out that there's a hot spring at one point.
Why?
Because rich. Also, it's funny. I said it
Oh,
earlier. This
man.
episode is hilarious.
It really is. This is a good one. The ad, freaking Mame, who is apparently is called Eddie in the dub, because I had to look up his freaking name.
Yeah, it's like, surely they didn't call him Edamame.
Yeah. More because he has mentioned it once, and they never bring him up again.
Yeah, dude's got a Saiyan name.
Yeah. So, Mame fights, like, Koji. Does this count as a Robattle?
Mr. Referee did not show up.
I would say it still counts, right?
No, because it's not an official... Even Koji says it wasn't an official battle.
Yeah, but this is still like straight up like, alright, 1v1. They both just like, they square up, they're like, okay, let's do this, let's go fight. And they like have a 1-on-1 duel. This kid loses, and it's like the only thing that keeps it from counting is that it's not official. Does this count for the win-loss list?
I mean, it could if
because I feel like this is very clear cut. Like, oh, you like freaking Koji just won, right?
I could squish an ant and count it as a victory. It's about the same thing. like there was no competition. Koji stomped the crap out of this guy.
Yeah, but then do we disregard Mabi versus the Bancho bot just because you like one-shots him?
Okay, that's a gray area because Mr. Referee shows up and parts were exchanged.
I feel like I have to say that this should count, right? Like, this is a win.
I mean, you can count it if you want. I don't think it should count. Like, I mean, I guess a win's a win if you want to chalk it up to a count, but I wouldn't count this as an official Robattle. Yeah,
but I don't know. It feels like this should count for the win-loss record, Like, that just feels right.
Sure. Win's a win.
Problem is that we will get to episode 6 where, like, Mabi just beats a bunch of robots off screen. They're just clearly cannon fodder, and we don't even see it happen. And it's like, oh, wait, is that a win? I don't know. That doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel like it should count.
Does that count as multiple wins? It's off camera, but Medabots does imply that he might have struggled with it a bit.
I don't know. I feel like I have to say that it's like, it has to either be an official match or we have to actually, like, see it happen. Because if Mabi just, like, runs through a group of enemies and we cut away and it just cuts back and he's like, oh, I took out 100 robots, then I don't know if it'd be fair to say that means that, like, Mabi just scored, like, 100 wins exactly. Like, that feels like it'd be cat cheating.
Also, for all the ones he defeated off screen, I don't think Mr. Referee, he doesn't show up until the actual 1v1.
Yeah, but what if there's... Does this retroactively remove the fight with Cyan Dog, though? Because, like... Cyan Dog, he runs into the Punk Trio, and they just ambush him, and they have a, like, Medabot fight. Like, Mr. Referee doesn't show up, but, like, it just straight up is a fight, and he just straight up loses. And it feels like that should count,
It should, because neither of them were, like, just cannon fodder Medabots.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. I think that's the distinction I want to draw here.
Yeah. I feel like it's like, okay, these are characters with, granted, they're like mass-produced Medabots. Two of them are the exact same model, but it's like they're
Yeah.
still
It
they're
has to
still like
be a
part.
named character at least, I think, is like the yeah.
Yeah, they're still one Medabot partnered to one person, whereas the Robo gang has like more Medabots than there are people. So they clearly just keep them around to carry things and like bully people or whatever.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think what would
Like
be
the
it'd be like if Ash beats a wild Pokemon, I don't think that should count as like, an official
yeah,
like match win in the same way as like, say like him squaring up against like a rival outside of like an official tournament would be.
yeah. Or heck, even just a random trainer on the road is more
Yeah.
like count as a win than like random Pokemon battle.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's like super fair for all intents and purposes for this whole side project.
Yeah, we're way overthinking this, but I guess we have to establish what counts early, huh?
Yeah, I want to establish the ground rules so that like later on if like things get a bit more gray then we can look back and be like, okay, well this makes sense because
Yeah.
of this ruling we made. But yeah, so they just dude gets wrecked immediately, doesn't even last a minute. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. And then
Koji, who I can only assume is just going to get Rokusho hard because of course.
oh his partner's Similidon.
Oh, he doesn't get Rokusho?
No.
I thought it was gonna get him because, like, rival, and it was gonna be like, oh, well, I have a Beetle Mel, so I just swap out the body or something.
No. No, Rokusho is I I think he shows up and doesn't even have a partner.
Huh. Because I was looking back and like, okay, yeah, rival, okay, when does he get the Rokusho?
Yeah, no.
Oh, man. But
So
yeah,
yeah, we have the little scene on the lake, and then they get to the school, and it's like earlier when Karin had pushed Icky into the wall, she hurt him actually, and so she like uses her banded like a handkerchief or whatever, like the patch up the like a wound on his elbow or whatever, and
yeah.
like they come back and what happens? Oh, she tries to pick up like a rose and gets stabbed by a thorn, and then
It's
Icky
the
returns the handkerchief to her.
it's the most
Mhm.
like cliche, like flowery,
Oh yeah,
like, oh yeah, she is like dainty love interest thing ever. Where she tries to pick up a flower and gets hurt on. And he's like, oh, let me help you as a man. And he like pulls out the handkerchief. And it's
yeah,
like
and it
it's adorable, but it's like the cheesiest shit.
I think it's great. And I think it works because they're very clearly doing it entirely on purpose.
Yeah,
Because
they're
there are
super
moments,
aware. They're playing up as
yeah,
hard as possible.
yeah, there are moments when the flowery like cutesy music is playing, and then somebody will yell at them off screen, and it just cuts off.
Oh man, like why? Why does every gag around this character feel so weirdly modern? Like this
They're
feels way too self-aware for a '90s anime.
they're weirdly like modern day like takes or whatever. Like Erica all of a sudden starts going off about the holes in the ozone layer. It's like, whoa. Which
Yeah.
I know was probably like something people were aware of back then, but it's like I don't
Oh
know,
yeah.
it just feels it's like way too relevant.
I'm just waiting for the episode where someone tries to introduce a digital currency and they're like, no, that would never work.
Robo dollars.
Meta tease.
But the metaverse with a D.
Damn.
Um
Wait, it
But
already
yeah,
does have... Wait, right, no. Alright, never mind. I was like, it already does have a D. I'm like, wait a second.
no, like metaverse, like the
The
crypto thing.
metaverse.
The metaverse with a D, as in metal, like Medabot.
Is that why everyone's missing legs? So they can't have their leg parts stolen?
uh,
Jeez. I will never
the
be through shit talking the metaverse.
no, it's good. It deserves all the ridicule. Um.
Also, Mabby dresses up like a student for a bit.
Oh, yeah. There's a scene at the front gate where they got to sneak in onto the school grounds and like. Okay, so like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles disguise thing is dumb. This is really dumb.
His head is literally like poked through the hat. How do you know they fit it through there? How'd they fit the cannons through the hole?
I don't know, but yeah, it looks like they just like cut a hole in it because it's all tattered and everything. I don't know. Maybe they slipped it over the smaller ones in the. No, that wouldn't work. I don't know.
At least he chose to wear a mask, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Speaking of weirdly modern like bits.
I mean, that's just that's just so they could hide the fact that he doesn't have a mouth.
Yeah, and because Japan, but still, it's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, they get to the school gate and they're like, okay, we gotta sneak in, but Metabee is clearly a Medabot, and like they only let students, like grade school students in, and so they come up with this. I don't know where they got the extra. I don't know. Maybe Erica had it. I don't know. Well, no, because she doesn't even wear a school uniform. She wears like her pink overalls.
Yes. Not only does she not have a school uniform, I don't know where she'd get like a school boys uniform.
Well, this is a girl's uniform, isn't it? It has a skirt, right? That's why Metabee's so embarrassed.
Maybe I didn't look at the legs enough. I just assumed it was wearing shorts.
Yeah, because it's got like the little bow tie thing or whatever.
Okay, no, that makes more sense then. Because I know how, like, Icky would have a girl's uniform. Maybe Erica just carries her uniform around just in case she, like, is forced to change into it or something, you know?
Yeah. But, so yeah, they go through, like, the front gate where there's a dude, like, making sure nobody sneaks in or whatever. And it's like, hey, what are you kids doing? Like, why are you going to the school so late or whatever? Do you forget something? It's like, oh yeah, the homework printouts. We gotta go later. They just walk through, and then Kikuhime and her guys come through, try to walk by, and he's just like, you don't look like you go here. Like kicks them out.
Yeah, I rewatched. It's like, is it because the original three thought to put the school logo on their backpacks and they didn't?
Maybe.
Because that's the only difference I can see. It's I don't know if that makes it funnier or less funny, knowing that there might be a reason for it.
I mean, maybe it might be that they got the school like crest and put it on their backpacks like, or whatever.
The screws don't get in, and they're like, okay, well, of course, we have to dig our way in, Team Rocket style.
Yeah, and I thought I saw something, but I didn't rewind to check. Were they like digging down and about to hit like a water main or something?
They were about to, and then they started digging like sideways. So they're like, they could have.
Okay, because it never comes back. We never cut back to the screws, so for all we know, they're just still underground trying to dig to the school.
As much as I like that joke, unfortunately we do come back to them at the end. Because after we learn that, like, Karen is, like, the legendary Robattler and stuff, because she's never lost, we cut back to the screws on school grounds, and they're just making the 3-hour walk to the school, not knowing that she's not a fighter.
Huh. I don't remember that for some
It's
reason.
like, it's at the very end of the episode. It's very easy to miss.
Okay.
I
I mean,
forgot the first time around too until I rewatched it.
Okay. See, I stick around for like the what meta parts were lost and gained or whatever this episode. And it's like,
The answer is
so
none of them.
yeah, none this episode. There is a fight. So yeah, that's what I was getting to. Is Karine picks up the rose and like stabs herself, and then Ikki uses the handkerchief to like bandage it up or whatever. And then Koji shows up. He's like, "Don't you dare touch her! I'll battle you or whatever for her honor." And it's like, and then they start to fight. And then in the middle of the fight, Edamame shows up and kidnaps Karine. Just like
Yeah.
interrupts the fight.
Something else I didn't think we'd get to this fast in the win-loss list is like, this is a draw, right? Like, this has to be counted as a draw.
No, because a draw would result in like both of them being like simultaneously knocked out or something. This is a no contest. This is nobody won, nobody lost. This is nothing.
Yeah, it's like, there are no winners, there are no losers, but the fight did take place, so I must tally it onto the list. It's as official as it gets.
I wouldn't tally it because it didn't. There was no conclusion.
Yeah, but it's a fight though, right?
A fight with no conclusion. Nobody won or lost. It's not even a draw. No, it's not even a draw. This is nothing. It's an incomplete fight.
I don't know, man.
YouTube comments. What do you think?
Please send comments. Listen, if people disagree, I will like change it. But I'm figuring it's like, yeah, because like Medabots survived. He did not lose. But this like isn't a win either, and that goes true for both of them. So it's yeah, draw, right? Yeah, because even though Similodon is like, yo, he's clearly like, yo, stronger, he's like winning, but he could have like turned this around. So draw from like just like no contest.
No, that's no contest and a draw are two different things. It's not the same thing.
I'm
like it was such a short fight too. Like they exchange a few hits or like shots or whatever, and then
to be fair, a lot of these fights have been pretty short.
Yeah, but this is so short that the fight didn't even finish.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they had interrupted.
Yeah. So it's not a draw. Would be like Similodon punches Medabots as Medabots fires a rocket into his face, and it's double KO, and they both like deactivate at the exact same time. That's a draw.
Would that even happen in this show?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Because it feels weird to be like, oh yeah, Medabots been like 7 fights and he's had 6 outcomes. And it's like, well, I don't know. Should I just have like draws also be counted as like, yo, no contest?
No, because they're not the same thing.
Yeah, but why they be a different category though?
Because a draw is like they knock each other out, and no contest is the fight gets interrupted for some reason.
And it feels like it'd be dumb to have like a separate category for no contest and one for draws. To be like, oh yeah, win, loss, draw, no contest, just qualified, you know, like just go down the list. It's just this horrible like mess for everyone.
I mean, it's your list, but I've said my piece.
I know, man. I know. But yeah.
So yeah, Edamame kidnaps Karine, and they chase him to where they are, and
Comments
he's like,
help.
okay. And he's like, hey, masked or not masked Robattler, but yeah, whatever. Super good Robattler, wherever you are, save the girl if you care, whatever, want to fight you. And it's like the entire school just charges through after they hear that. It's like how dare you kidnap Kari, and she's like the sweetest and the best and whatever. And it's like they all summon their Medabots, and it's just this huge army about to like murder him.
How dare you kidnap Karin? I'm gonna murder you. Jeez.
And it's like they start to attack him, and then she's like, "No, don't hurt him. Fight me instead." It's like, what? It's like she's like so pure, too good for this world that she's like, I'll take the attacks for this dude who kidnapped me. And it's like, okay, now it's getting ridiculous.
It's like that really dumb scene from Kimba where it's like there's just a warthog who wants to be helpful, and he just sees a kid getting spanked by his mom, and with like just is this introductory thing with like zero context, he's like, no, you can't like spank him, spank me instead. It just seems like he has a weird kink for it. Oh yeah, man.
It's kind of weird, but yeah, that's when she summons Nutrinurse and shoots out this gigantic healing beam across everybody and like heals everyone and like pacifies everyone. And it's like, oh man, she defeated so many, or like she beat so many people or whatever. And I think it's Erica's just like, wait a minute, are you the legendary Robattler? And she's like, who hasn't ever lost a fight? And she's like, well, it is true that I have never lost a fight. I never really thought about it. And then it's just like, oh.
It's like, yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. By technicality. And there's also a bunch of people spreading like weird words that the Robattler is like an alien or some crap, or like
2 meters tall.
Yeah. There's
I don't
a
know
bunch
how
of
tall a meter is, but
they're like, well, I've heard they've like gone to the school in the same grade for 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah, initially it starts like, oh, they use this Medabot. It's like, oh, they use this Medabot. And it's like, oh, I've heard that the legendary Robattler is a giant. It's like, okay.
Oh, man. That's the thing. It's like, they're like, oh, yeah, use this and this. And first, like, wait, does Koji just, like, use different robots just for the sake of it? Because he says he has every part. Does he do this to crap to people as, like, a challenge? And it turns out, no. Not at all. It's just bullcrap.
The whole episode is leading up to a punchline. And they nail it because this episode's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Also, somebody among the people spreading rumors, somebody actually got the information right, because it's like, oh yeah, it's a girl with twin tails. And
yeah.
The characters are basically like, do you have any idea how little that narrows it down? And then like Edamame overhears this and looks over and sees Karin, and it's like, oh, he figured it out, did he? No, no, he's just like, hey, if I kidnap that cute girl, the legendary Robattler will show up.
Yeah, they're like, it's something to do with a girl with twin tails. And he's like, oh, I know. It's her brother.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the episode ends
Good episode.
with Karin pulling up in a hilariously long stretch limo. And Icky's like, wait, you're not poor? She's like, no.
I love the Ram line where she's like, oh yeah, I can give you a lift home, but it's going to be a little crowded.
Yeah, it's like, what? And it's probably just because she's used to riding alone.
Oh man, I thought like, I assumed it's like, is she just so ditzy she thinks that like the only way is for them all to get into the back seat? Are there no other seats in this thing?
Yeah, it's just long for looks. There's nowhere to sit in between the driver's seat and
It's
the back.
zero functionality.
Yeah, it's just a status symbol.
Oh
And then
man.
Koji pulls up at his freaking horse-drawn carriage, and he's just like, "Oh, the commoners like walking," and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry if I was rude for offering." Later, and then she just she drives off. It's like,
When you just pull
uh,
up in your fanciest FF14 mount and you're just dressed as the most generic student motherfucker ever.
and then Koji's like, "Yeah, that fight. We'll finish our fight from earlier in the future. Count on it." And then rival established.
Rival established. Oh man, I guess just little crowds on it. Jeez.
Oh, it does.
It really does.
Yeah, they really established it's like, yeah, these people are like stupid rich.
Do we have anything else to say about this episode? I know, man.
No, I'm good on this one. Funny
This
episode.
show is
really like it.
This show weirdly gives us a lot, and it's also weirdly kind of hard to talk about because so much of the commentary is just like, yeah, this was funny, this was good, I like this.
Yeah, watch the show. The jokes are funnier when you're seeing it yourself.
Yeah.
I'm glad Peter was just like, yeah, I guess I'll start watching Medabots, and it's like, oh, this show's great.
Watch the show and then tune in and listen to us just rant about the things you've already seen in an absurd, goofy way.
Well, hey, because we're on Twitch, they can input their own opinions and everything. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, comment one on Twitch if you think you should watch this show and then, like, agree that it's a draw, but then disagree that the fight with the, like, Serizawa or whatever counts. And then I will look at that and not have any idea what to do with it.
Well, I mean, if it's an obvious thing that we've both agreed on, it doesn't matter what the comments think.
Comment 3 if you think that, like, draws and DQs are not the same thing, but they should be counted together, but also that for the list it should not count. And then I'll look at that and be like, okay, this means something, I guess.
Okay, I'm kind of like, it's not really too relevant. I'm just surprised that the Medabots podcast episodes have as many views as they do.
They are doing better than I expected, but
not as good as most Digimon uploads. Yeah, but I mean, I'm surprised to see as many as I am.
Yeah, let me just glance over that because I feel like I haven't like looked at it in like a hot minute.
Speaking of views, did you see that Lugia's the Case 2 experience video has like 2,000 views?
Oh heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, it popped up on my recommendations, which is a good thing for him.
Yeah, it's a good video. He put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, it popped up in my recommendation, and I saw the view count is like over 2,000 people have heard me do my bad Chiaki voice.
Man, what's the big thing we had? Yeah, I'm looking at Medabots. It's like, all right, 634. Jeez. Okay, yeah, that's
right?
way more than I was expecting. Like, giant plummet for like episode 3 for some reason. Okay,
Probably just because it's more recent.
Maybe, I don't know. I think the algorithm is just dumb sometimes.
It could be that too.
Yeah, it's like out-competing freaking Digimon. Actually, never mind. No, Digimon's catching up a lot. All right, never mind. I'm dumb. Yeah.
34 is roughly on par with the end of Savers.
Yeah. You know what? That's respectable. I respect that a lot.
Yeah.
I hope we can keep getting views. I really like doing this show.
Yeah. probably just a niche amount of people who are just like, man, I miss Medabots, and then like they get a thing for Medabots in their feed, and it's like, I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah. Oh man. If people listen, if people really like this crap and they like watch stuff, then I'm gonna be motivated to actually like improve things. I don't know how. I don't know, maybe I'll actually get them all working after all. Cause screw it, that would look nice. Oh man, but yeah.
But yeah,
Should we move on?
yeah.